Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today. My name is Evan McCown. I am the leader of the Raise Campus Ambassador Program. I am here today with my mom, the CEO and founder of Raise Global Services, Carol McCown. So we are in the middle of a series that we're setting up to kind of introduce the concepts of Raise and how people can get involved and to kind of talk about how people are already involved. So this is part 2 of our short little mini series. So I'm gonna go ahead with the second question. Having traveled across the world, where would you like to make the biggest impact at through Raise and its vision, and why?
That's a really great question. I know you're going to expect me to say, oh, I want to make this impact in Africa, or I'm loving the work that we're doing in India, or the Middle East, or in Mexico, or right here in the United States. But the truth of this is a vision and a mission. And I want to make the biggest impact in the heart of man. I have had the opportunity to meet political leaders. I have had the opportunity to meet business leaders. I have had the opportunity to meet students. And I can tell you that my hope is in the students. I believe that our political leaders across the world, I think our business leader across the world that have come from my generation for the last 60 years have power and money as their first priority. And I think that business decisions and political decisions have been made based on that being the center point of what they want to accomplish. I think that looking after others has been a check in the box. I still believe that. I think it's a lot of talk. This whole thing about environmental, social, and governance that they're putting out there for big corporations right now. The corporations are still just trying to figure out what they can do to get this accomplished. And the bottom line is that God gave us a very pure and gorgeous place to live. And I think that the names and things about climate change is being used to divide people. I don't think it's thinking about putting people first or the planet first. I have seen and talked to innovators who have had amazing solutions, not only in water purification or energy or even health, that big corporations have taken on those patents, and then all they've done is hide them so that they can continue to sell whatever product they are that are selling, and the products that they're selling may be killing us. And so if anything comes out of Raise, what I want to see the world see is that we have been given by God the opportunity to look after each other and to look after this planet. And it is not only our responsibility to do so, but it is also our duty to each other as human beings to do this for each other. And that is the mindset that has to change. It has to change. And so, the impression of taking the next generation of students and college students, and they walk out of those campuses after what we've just gone through and are going through right now in our world, and they can walk into the companies that they serve or the positions that they take as a mom or a parent or a teacher or a lawyer, that they start to stand up for things that matter and not necessarily for things that add more gadgets or material possessions into their purse or whatever. That's what I want to see change. And I think that having a brand like Raise, where that if you work with this brand and the things that we're bringing to market are the best in class technologies that we can find, and that we're product agnostic, we don't care. We're going to bring the best solution. And when we generate these profits, we're going to add value to a whole nother people group. Then I think that's the way all corporations should run. And if we can be an example for that, then that's the way it should be. One time, somebody a long time ago, I was talking about Raise, and somebody said, well, what if somebody copies what you're doing, your brand and what you're doing? And I was like, we all win.
Yeah, exactly.
Copy it. Every
Mhm.
corporation should be copying it. I mean, I could tell
Yeah.
you stories about corporations that are doing the wrong thing. And I'm just like, you know what? No, not anymore. It's not acceptable
Yeah.
anymore.
I love the fact that Raise is about making a positive change instead of just, trying to get a large income and, make a bunch of money and have a bunch of power like a bunch of these big corporations. Um, I have another question just involving the corporations. Like, how do you think, like, what do you think it's going to take to get them to move to really change their mindset? I know we can do our part and make our impact with our company and how we perform and how we act and the things we do. But how do you think big corporations can start? Where do you think a good starting point is for them to make that change?
Well, two ways are going to make that change. One is when we start beating them out of contracts because we have better products and services and we add value to these people groups that we serve. Number one, we're going to start winning. Number two is people need to stop buying their products. They need to understand what they're doing. And so the world needs to hear or see what it is that they're doing. If they stop buying their products and their consumers start saying, you know what, we don't agree with this, we're not going to be part of this in the future, then they'll change the way that they look at things. The other thing is their leadership has to change their heart. And if their leaders don't have a heart for looking after people and humanity, then the shareholders need to get rid of them. The shareholders need to make this part of the DNA of that company. Their board of directors, their consumers that buy their products, and also the people that own the shares of stock. They need to quit buying stock and being in agreement with companies that are doing the wrong thing. And you know what? You got to be smart about it. You got to start looking. You can't just take for granted that sweet commercial they're putting on TV is the truth, because it's not. It's not. Right. You got to start looking for the truth yourself. And once you do that, you'll go, wow, I had no idea. But once you start to discover that, then you have to do the hard thing. And maybe it'll be a little bit of a disadvantage for you. If you saw the amount of plastic that's going into our oceans and killing our fish, you might think more by the next time, you buy plastic bottled water. Instead, right. Get a water purification system in your house and encourage your kids to understand that you've got that water purification system in your house and that is better for you than the bottled water out there for all kinds of reasons. But step up and start doing it yourself. Now, I'm preaching to myself here just as much as anybody. But all of us, if we're going to complain about what's going on in the world, we need to be doing it ourselves. We need to be thinking about it ourselves.
Right. Completely agree. That's going to lead us into our part 3. So I think that's it for part 2. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.